Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. We're going to bring Christy on in a second. Wait a minute. I just forgot. I forgot something. Give me 1 second, everybody. I'll be right there. Hit the like button. I'll be right there in a sec. Hello, everybody. What is up? It is Tuesday, October 27th, 2020. We are 1 week away from choosing between fracking with science and fracking without science. You guys excited for democracy in action? You guys just excited? You've pumped up for one guy, if he's president, is going to keep 7 wars going. Another guy, if he's president, is going to keep 7 wars going. So it's like, I don't know what to choose. So welcome everybody in the chat. Please hit the like button. We're going to bring Christy on in a second. And thank you everybody that's watching over on the Rockfin and Facebook. This whole week we've been simulcasting on Facebook as well. And of course, a great way to support the show is to hit the super chat icon. I will answer all your questions after talking with Christy. Hello, Backyard Politics, Truth to Tweet, Phil, Reese, several others, Norwal Tacos, Everything Revolution. Okay, cool. And then please push this out on all of your social media. On the Twitter and the Instagram and the whatnot. I'm going to just put this out right now. Boom. Okay. All right. Hello, Sharif. What's up? Let me get this going. We've got currently 60 some people, 33 likes. Let's get that out there because usually we get about 300 or 400 people watching. So let's. All right. Let me bring all this up. Hey, Christy, how you doing?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
Excellent. Can you hear me all right?
Yep, loud and clear.
Can everybody in the chat hear her okay? Just let me know if there's any sort of sound issues. Liked and shared. Nice. Okay. All right, everybody. Hit the like button, everyone. And whether you're on whatever platform you're watching on, please tweet that out now. Some sort of echoey thing or something knocking around, Christy. Do you hear that?
No, I don't hear anything.
Huh. That right there, that noise. Sounds like the microphone's scraping up against something.
That's my zipper. Whoops.
Okay. All right, cool. There we go. There we go. All right. Okay. Neo is the one. To all my US peeps, I wish you all luck next week. And if you try to cross into Canada, sorry, but we already built our privacy hedge along the border. Yeah. I would find alternate plans, folks, if you're going to try to get out via the northern border. And of course, there's a wall on the southern border, which maybe Trump supporters are realizing now that wall is to hold us all in. Anyway, that's not. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. We're here with a returning very special guest, co-host of Boom Bust on RT, Christy I. Christy, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Okay. So I wanted to bring you on for several reasons. First of all, it was great having you on last month. And I've been talking almost relentlessly to my audience about the power of cryptocurrency. And I have started because I'm on this platform, Rockfin, that pays us in this, they're a token that they mine, and I've converted some of it to Ethereum and I've converted some of it to Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like today, Tuesday, the 27th, Bitcoin has gone up somewhere in the neighborhood of $600 or $700 just today.
I know. So, I mean, like since last we spoke, it's literally up like another 30+%, which is amazing.
Which is like, I want people to really track this. Like in the 4 or 5 months maybe 6 months that I've been truly paying attention to this, I converted some in July when it was $9,000.
Mhm.
Just to let people know. So what is that? July, August, September, up 4 months. It's gone up $4,000.
Yeah.
Which is and
Best year-to-date return asset ever.
that ever, like there's no, I don't like, oh wow, my IRA earned 0.003% or whatever. Like you got to be kidding me.
Exactly.
So let's talk about, first of all, several interesting things. As I pay more attention now and I watch your guys' show and I watch some other people on YouTube, I watch Max Kaiser and some other people that are interesting. And so I've heard the last couple of days about decoupling and how Bitcoin was sort of tied to the stock market a little bit. And this past week, the stock market has not been doing well, and yet Bitcoin is going up. So I wanted to, first of all, tell us what you're seeing just in the month since we spoke last time. I've seen way more big, like the Square bought 50. I mean, these huge companies are like jumping in there. And then there's like, it feels like a fear of missing out thing of they're like, well, if JP Morgan, Chase and Square doing this, then we better dump, $20 million in there or whatever. So what are you seeing as somebody that studies this? Yeah. So what are you seeing? And especially this last week and since we spoke last?
Yeah, so I guess like there's two big pieces of information there, right? Like first you have the decoupling, because before cryptocurrency market, they kind of traded and they were kind of correlated to the US equities market. Every single time we had a big down day, the Bitcoin market also took a dump. Every single time we rallied, crypto market also rallied up. So there was this big correlation going on, but more and more it seems like it has a bigger correlation with gold. And this is going to be really key and really important because gold is going to be the big safety asset here. And this also coincides perfectly with the two big pieces of news that came out last week, which one obviously was PayPal. That was huge, and that PayPal was going to be onboarding Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and a handful of other coins onto their platform in order for payments for its 300 and so million users and it's in their merchant markets as well. So that's huge. That's going to onboard the entire mainstream consumer onto the cryptocurrency platform. But then the other really big piece of news, which kind of sparked this entire rally, this 30% rally, literally from 10,000 to 13,000 plus, this was when the IMF called for a new Bretton Woods movement. So this statement initially kind of went under the radar. A lot of people didn't quite grasp the implications of what it meant. So, I mean, to start off, Bretton Woods was basically the last time the global currency system was backed by a commodity or a hard asset. So in this case, it was gold. And right now, Bitcoin is very correlated to gold. After that, it's very self-explanatory. So the Bretton Woods system was done in 1944 by the Allied nations after World War II. And the agreement basically said that the participating nations would hold a fixed exchange rate between their currency.
Hey, Christy, I'm sorry to
and the
interrupt you
dollar.
again, but we're hearing that microphone.
Sorry, is that really bothering you?
Yeah.
Is that better?
There you go. It's like, right,
I was like, yeah.
I was like, what is that? Either there's like a
Sorry.
squirrel eating on the phone or, but
So
yeah,
sorry about that.
no worries. We got it fixed so we don't see 1,000 comments. But yeah, so you were saying.
Yeah, so between the Bretton Woods, the agreement, basically the dollar was at the center of this entire schema because the entire agreement was basically pegging every single country's currency to the dollar. And the dollar was backed by gold at the time, at least. So basically it was this chain of value that had a buck stop at the end at the dollar. So we have since moved very, very far away from that. So that's why the IMF said last Thursday, we're staring down at a second Bretton Woods movement. We're looking at a complete restructuring and a great financial reset. So obviously this isn't going to happen overnight, but the groundwork is getting laid and it's coming. And so as you pointed out earlier, all the companies are now getting ready for it. PayPal, Square, MicroStrategy, other public companies, all the big hedge funds, they're now pooling their money and allocating their funds into Bitcoins as a hedge against inflation. And right now, we're not just talking about inflation. You have companies, citizens, people. We have a lot to worry about. You worry about the potential debasement of currency. You worry about these zero interest rates in your savings account, or even potentially negative interest rates, where you're getting penalized for hoarding and holding and saving cash for a rainy day. You worry about being forced into buying these expensive equities in your IRA by your pension plans, even though these valuations are astronomical right now, because you have no control over it. It's in your pension plan. They invested for you. They're going to put it into equities at very bad prices. So all of that is really, really bad. But as we said before, Bitcoin is completely immune to that, just like gold. It's the only hard asset with a fixed reserve that is completely immune and works as a great store of value.
So yeah, and it's really it's amazing to watch when, especially all of these companies, CEOs and all these people who literally are quoted 6-7 years ago going, Bitcoin is a bunch of nerds online, it's rainbow currency or whatever, and now they're like, oh yeah, we're dumping $50 million into there.
Exactly. And it's crazy. And there's going to be a mad scramble because you have them, like Square, they recently put in about $240 million into it. PayPal is now going to be hoarding it because, as we said, PayPal is going to be a closed loop system. So every single time you buy a Bitcoin on PayPal, it's going to stay on PayPal. You can't get it out of the PayPal system. So that's why it's going to be a double-edged sword. It's going to be great for spreading it towards mainstream consumer, but it's basically going to be PayPal's way of just hoarding and holding Bitcoin.
And what that does, correct me if I'm wrong, when these companies hold on to these massive amounts of Bitcoin, it just drives the price up.
It does, because as we said, there's a limited amount of Bitcoin in the world. There's limited amount. Once you mine them all, there's not going to be another printing. There's not going to be a re-release. There's not going to be an airdrop or anything. The asset is going to hold up due to supply and demand.
Okay, so obviously, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this. I've been talking about it on this show for a while. I mean, before COVID, I was talking about all of these indicators that our economy is teetering. The 60% of the population that can't afford a $500 to $1,000 emergency. Again, before COVID, the housing bubble, the commercial real estate bubble, the car loan bubble. Like I read in February, there was like 2 million car loans that were 90 days late. That was, again, before COVID. Like all of this is before COVID, and all COVID did was exacerbate this.
Exactly.
I'm hearing all these financial, and I'm sure I've heard you guys talk about it on Boom Bust too, that the market is like, it's going to crash in some way. And when it did in March, the pandemic shutdown drove all the markets down, and Bitcoin got taken down with it. It dropped below 4,000, but then it slowly has obviously made its way back up. So do you see Bitcoin dropping again when this market crashes? And if so, will it go down as far as it did in March? Or are there bigger people realizing there's more of a long term? Because wasn't the reason, and correct me if I'm wrong, in March is just a lot of banks and stuff had bought into Bitcoin and then just like sold it because they needed cash in March. I don't know. I don't know all the particulars of that, but can you explain that to us and what potentially the next crash will do to Bitcoin?
A lot of that was due to liquidity issues, because Bitcoin has been a highly leveraged product. There we have a lot of futures outstanding in the open trading platforms. It was a very, very leveraged product. Some people were leveraged about 100 to 1. So when you suddenly have a severe market dislocation, as we did back in March, a lot of the exchanges, all those positions just got liquidated. And as such, just like with the equities markets, the crypto market also had a lot of algos, a lot of bots, a lot of people who couldn't meet those leveraged positions when they came due.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but myself, for starters, and probably a large portion of my audience might not know what leveraged 100 to 1 means.
That just basically means that you are basically trading 100 Bitcoins, but you're only putting up 1 Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up by say $100, you just made $100 times 100 because you're leveraged. It's a multiplier effect. So it's really great when things are in your favor, but it's also the same way down as well. So if it loses $100, you're losing 100 times 100.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. So it allows for massive, massive swings. And that's exactly what happened because no one was expecting that suddenly came on overnight. A lot of people did not have time to deleverage their current trading positions. So as such, right now, if there is another dislocation right now, people are more prepared for it. There are more puts, which are basically options for protections to the downside. There are more puts out there in the crypto market as well as in the equities market. People are more prepared this time for such a dislocation. But I think the big difference now since March is that Bitcoin has basically been recognized by the IMF, by the financial community as a very stable asset. It has basically proved itself since March, that it is a store of value. And since March, we have basically printed billions and billions of dollars into the system. As such, that leads us to debasement. Whereas gold and Bitcoin, they have just steadily climbed their way up because they are the truest and purest form of value.
Right. So it feels like to me, and like I don't hear anybody saying the stock market is not going to crash. It feels like what you talked about, the printing of not just billions, but literally trillions of dollars have been injected into the economy since the first CARES Act. They're having another one of their stupid two-party slap fights over this next CARES Act and how much of it goes to Wall Street and what breadcrumbs the American people get, whatever. I'm sure Nancy Pelosi will make sure we all get ice cream, which is exciting. It's exciting. A lady worth $160 million have two ice cream fridges. That makes me happy to be an American. And watching the debates. Oh God, whole nother episode. But so it feels like to me, in just this little knowledge that I have of this arena, this newer knowledge that I have based on watching the American empire collapse, it feels like when the market does crash, Bitcoin will get taken down. It'll get
taken down a little bit, but as we've seen in March, it's going to recover and rally way faster than any other asset that we've seen. And one of the reasons is because right now, as you've mentioned, there are huge problems that are going to cause this collapse, right? The IMF right now is trying to tackle this dollar shortage problem that is arising. We currently live in the system basically where 79% of all the world's transactions are basically in dollars, but the US is only 25% of GDP. So if you think about it, how does that work? I mean, it really doesn't. So it leads to these things like dollar shortages and the problems in areas like South Africa, Argentina, Brazil. They're all beholden to the US dollar, even though the US is not its largest trading partner. It's basically because the US dollar is the reserve currency and the settlement currency. And it's just so strong that it's essentially breaking the entire system. So now with the coronavirus, you add that on, as you said, you add coronavirus into these emerging markets and these less stable countries, they're staring at a full default of the retail banking systems. And these countries, they haven't printed money yet. They haven't come out with any massive stimulus plans yet. Like we haven't heard from Brazil or Iran. We only have the major economies printing, the US, the EU, China, because basically all these emerging market countries, they're entirely undercapitalized. They know that the second they print, it will basically cause hyperinflation because their balance sheets are so weak. So as you said, with a market crash, that's not going to be stemmed from one of the developed countries. It's going to come from a trickle down of all of these collapses of these emerging markets.
How bad do you think it'll be, and when do you think it's going to happen?
That is hard to say because essentially what the central banks are trying to do, they're trying to stall and push it out. But it's all kind of coming to a head because basically right now with the IMF and all the central banks, they are trying to hold off and stall for as long as possible. And right now with coronavirus, it's kind of creating the perfect backdrop for the central banks to introduce their new central bank digital currency, the savior, the great reset, to help us get out from all of this massive, massive debt. So the IMF last week, they alluded to this huge change coming to the global financial system. And so while right now there's not much details on it, everything is hinting and pointing and leaning towards the fact that CBDCs are going to be the new standard because the current fiat money system is basically on its last leg.
So CDDC, that's a decentralized currency. Is that what you mean?
Absolutely not. That is going to be a central bank digital currency. Basically the opposite, the complete opposite of a decentralized currency. It's basically just going to be a digital form of your current fiat money. It's going to come with all the problems that fiat money has. But the thing is, it's going to be even worse because that means everything is going to be traced. So, I mean, that's just putting it mildly, right? Because authorities, they use every single crisis, every single period of crisis to impose these emergency powers that kind of become more permanent. So, I mean, the easy example is the Patriot Act, still in effect nearly 2 decades later. Why? Because once you have that power, you don't want to give that up. So the Patriot Act has basically become this symbol of the massive expansion of government power. But in the beginning, it was always sold as necessary for your own good and for your protection. So now we're looking at the Federal Reserve, all the central banks, they're looking at CBDCs and they're saying that this is going to be wonderful. This is going to save the world. This is going to save all of these emerging markets from crashing because it's going to be a system of instant payments and digital dollars. No one's going to be beholden to the US dollar anymore. No one's going to be beholden to the SWIFT network anymore because the US controls it. We have financial freedom now because we can send payments internationally. This is going to be so great. We can reach all of the unbanked household where the stimulus payments couldn't reach them. We can even have universal basic income if we want because we're paying people direct. This is going to be great. So yeah, that's how they're selling it right now. It sounds great, right? It sounds superb, super noble.
Wow, there's just so much bullshit laid in that marketing scam. I'm just like, oh man,
I mean, it sounds great. We get universal basic income, stimulus plans directly to you. You don't have to fill out any paperwork.
Oh, and all we have is a chip planted in my head or whatever they want to do next to make it safe.
Exactly. So that's the other half of it. But if you want that, every single piece of digital dollar, every single CBDC, every single e-euro, every single one of that is going to be trackable. So that's just another example of a power grab situation. The power to borrow and distribute money right now currently goes through the elected representatives in Congress. Now, that would be completely bypassed by the central bank. So they now don't have to wait for the bipolar Congress to agree on a stimulus or a UBI or anything. They can just create trillions out of thin air and just distribute them to the household without any congressional approval. Congress also has no power to stop the Fed from printing endlessly trillions and trillions of dollars and distributing them because the Fed is an independent quasi-public agency. So it's actually quite free to create and distribute as it sees fit.
So
scary, isn't it?
Yeah. So I saw that video about the IMF talking about that, and I've heard about other countries creating their own digital currency, but you're saying it'll be a centralized digital currency.
Correct.
How will that affect the decentralized digital currencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin and others?
Well, Bitcoin and all of the decentralized currencies, that is going to be the solution to this very big, scary world. So in a world where CBDCs rule everything, so before I get into that, there are a couple positives to it. Like, as I said, there's going to be universal basic income. There's going to be underpin the poor side of society. There's going to solve SWIFT and the International Payment Society, but everything. But the thing is, you're going to have absolutely no control over your money. You're going to have no control how you spend it, when you spend it, who to spend it from, especially in a world where we track everything and everything's based on behavioral economics now. So, but the thing is, the only way to basically break out of it is Bitcoin and gold. They have these two assets. They have proven themselves to be a great stable currency as all of these fake fiat currencies and these fake CBDC currencies, they get printed. I mean, the more we printed this year, the more gold held up relative to it. And Bitcoin even more so, as we've seen. So these are basically the only two ways, the decentralized currency, the decentralized lending, that's basically the only way to break out of the system. If you don't want to be tracked, if you don't want to have your behavior analyzed by all this big data machine learning that's out there tracking everything.
The people that run this world are just full on assholes. I just don't know how else to say it.
It's a very dangerous tool. And here's the great thing. The biggest irony of all of this, like we say that now we have universal basic income to fight poverty and everything. The biggest irony is that the primary source of the impoverishment and the inequality, that's basically from the Fed itself. Yeah. Because when the Fed's liquidity taps were full on flowing with their permanent open market operations, this was all for Wall Street. But 95% of the citizens, they were actually worse off as you have wage stagflation and rising inflation. That has all eroded the standard of living and the purchasing power of labor. So basically, that means the Fed, they first created the inequality problem, and then they come riding to the rescue via this massive power grab and expansion of power via CBDCs.
It's like we have an obesity epidemic and Coca-Cola comes out with Diet Coke and goes, see, we fixed it. It's just
that is a great example.
And Bitcoin is like, no, you need a plant-based diet. This is what you need to grow your own food and have a plant-based diet. And they're like, well, how about Coke Zero? How about cherry-flavored Coke Zero? Oh, God. So let's talk about this election that's coming up between these utterly corrupt people, and what are you seeing? Like, how are the markets, like, what do you think they're going to do in reaction to either Trump or Biden? And then how do you see Bitcoin reacting if it even responds at all? Or Bitcoin is kind of it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like Bitcoin is becoming more and more just on its own thing, and everybody realizes it's valuable, and it's becoming less and less tied to all this archaic bullshit like witch, corrupt, rapist, warmongers in the White House. But tell me.
It's not going to be so much affected by the equities market. It's going to be more so tied to the movements of gold. And either way, if we're looking at the equities markets going into the elections, I believe we're going to see a lot of volatility simply because right now Trump has kind of made it known that he's going to be against it if he doesn't win. He's going to cause some sort of disruption, or he's going to call for a recount. Basically, a lot of people are prepared for this to be dragged out. As we've seen before, it's going to be dragged out. It's not going to be settled on November 3rd. It's going to be something that's going to have a lot of uncertainty. No one's going to know where anyone stands until probably sometimes either late November or early December or something like that. So I feel like the month of November is going to be terrible for the equities markets. It's just going to be nonstop volatility. But either way you look at it, Trump apparently wants to do massive stimulus plans, and it's going to be very good for companies. It's going to be very good for Wall Street. Biden, on the other hand, he has massive taxes in store for all the corporations who are not going to be happy with him. But the thing is, he also has massive stimulus plans as well in place. So if Biden wins, the tax hit is going to hurt a lot of corporations initially. But with the massive stimulus plans that the Democrats have, they're basically on track to just print trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in stimulus, where Goldman Sachs estimate that if we have a full sweep by the Democrats, they will print out enough stimulus to last us through like 2023, which is going to be great because that just means you're printing more money. It's going to be great for Bitcoin. It's going to be great for gold. But basically, you're just trying to print your way out of debt. And once it's 2023, where does that debt go? I mean, that's going to be someone else's problem at that point. So who cares, apparently.
Good old American kick the can down the road, which is just a fun game to play. Okay. So let me ask, it's just, we're in such a broken system, and it's just like all of these band-aids are being put on it.
That's why they kind of want this great financial reset, which is what everyone is calling for, essentially.
Right. Because this is like, and this is why it seems like, again, going back, like Bitcoin is really at the center of this sort of financial freedom, this decentralization, and all these old systems, the centralized banks, and the way they profit off of war. They love people going into debt. I mean, all of it. They've flexed their muscles in so many awful ways that to see them go down, hey, thoughts and prayers. But so one of the things we talked about the last time you were on the show was like, if this big crash comes and since all of these, I mean, not only is there a mortgage bubble, but there's a commercial real estate bubble, right? And what that's going to do. And you talked about printing all this money, and there could potentially be a run on the banks where, like, let's say you have $5,000 in your bank account. They're going to say, oh, all we can give you is $500. Now, because you cited some other countries where Greece or where some other places, I think, where that has happened.
Turkey,
yeah. So, and it sounds like that's coming no matter what, whether it's Biden or Trump or whatever, like that. It's like, it's almost like both parties kind of don't want to win a little bit because they know that's going to come no matter what. Like whoever's in the White House is going to have to own that. And when that does happen, how do you look for it? And how do you, just for like the viewers of this show, because that's, again, why I'm slowly moving stuff into credit unions. I'm moving stuff into crypto because I just, the big banks are going to be like out of money, but kind of explain that to us and what to look for, because I already saw there was a story today or yesterday that a friend sent me. The HSBC to overhaul business model as third quarter profit tumbles 35%. That to me feels like, oh, it's starting.
I mean, it very well could be starting because, as I said, like these banks, they are not generating any money, but the big difference is between today and 2007 is that 2009 is because luckily banks did learn some lessons. Earlier this year, when we did have the crash back in March, all of the banks did stockpile all their reserves. They boosted up their reserves, had all their assets in cash because they actually expected this wave of defaults to hit. And yes, this wave of defaults is hitting. We're in the midst of hitting it. So we're not only talking about these retailers and real estate and commercial real estate. No, we're not. We're talking about full-on businesses that are going bankrupt. You had JCPenney, you had Men's Warehouse, I believe, and so many other retailers. So when that happened, all these banks, luckily, up until now at least, they were kind of prepared. They had built up their reserves, bolstered everything up. JP Morgan especially padded it up all the way. But the thing is, there's only so much that they can do because if everybody defaults, no bank is going to be prepared for it. It's a calculated risk right now. And right now, the banks are currently within their estimates. They are within line. So as of now, I would say that we are safe. But the problem is if these defaults and these bankruptcies continue and they compound. And that is the fear. And that is why everyone is trying to get a new stimulus bill passed quickly in order to try to backstop this wave of collapses that would essentially collapse all the banks.
Yeah, and it feels like maybe some of them have learned their lesson, which is in terms of why they're putting their assets into Bitcoin. Maybe that's why they're like, at least we'll be in Bitcoin if we lose all of this. Because I'm just seeing, like, first of all, those big companies, Neiman Marcus, Hertz, that you're talking about. And then I just got an email from Yoga Works, right? That's where I go to yoga. And they said, I've been going online, obviously, since March. But they just sent out an email to all of their members saying, we're getting rid of all of our in-person studios across the country. And they're in like a half a dozen cities. You're talking about 40 or 50 physical locations. There's probably a half a dozen or 10 or so more in the LA area for sure. I mean, and so I'm sitting there going, and I know some yoga teachers that were like substitute or part-time, they're gone. So there's each studio had 10 to 12 classes a day. Now there's just 10 to 12 online classes. So all those teachers, all those people working there, they don't have that. And then I'm thinking about all of the commercial landlords that are now being told this massive whatever, some of these yoga studios are huge. This 10,000 square foot whatever is like, bye, we're gone. So then what, and who's going to take the place of that? I mean, I'm hearing even the big digital companies that are doing good business, Hulu, Netflix, and them, everyone's working at home, and they're standing around going, well, why are we paying this huge lease on this massive, 10-story office building? So when all that is starting, I'm like, what's that going to do?
Exactly. And that is the fear, because if we suddenly have all these big asset devaluations, that is going to put tremendous stress and tremendous pressure on the banks. So that is why all these continued stimulus packages, that's why everybody is so pressed to get them passed. Because what it does is that every single one of these new stimulus packages, it basically acts as a little bridge, a little band-aid to try to get through coronavirus. Because that's the thing, everybody thinks, and everybody does think, that right now coronavirus is temporary, and hopefully it is. Hopefully we get through it in another 6 or 8 months. But the thing is, it's lasted longer than anyone has anticipated. We all thought it was only going to be a 3-4 month blip for us, but it hasn't been. And that's why you have all these closures, all these real estate devaluations. There are new priorities now. Instead of spending on clothes and fashions and luxury goods, people are stockpiling things like food and emergency gears and guns, things like that. So there's a shifting of assets, a shifting of priorities, and obviously a shift in consumer behavior and work from home and things like that. So because of that, everybody still thinks it's going to be temporary. Nobody's wants to work from home for forever. So they think that this is just a temporary, brief trend, that if we can get through it, real estate prices, they can bounce back because consumer behavior is still very strong. Consumer spending is still quite strong here in the US. Because of that, they think that we can bounce back if only we can weather through it. If we have enough stimulus to bandage the gap and get all these businesses through it without them being bankrupt, foreclosed, evicted, whatever, everything's going to be great. And so that is the risk. We're trying to balance out and estimate how long Corona is going to last, and if we can just print enough money, enough stimulus to get everybody through it. And the great thing is, the US being the reserve currency, it can actually print whatever it wants, because apparently here in the US, we have the benefit of not having a hyperinflation problem if we did do this. So imagine any other poor emerging countries that we just mentioned, they do not have the luxury of this option. So that's the problem. They are going to be in a far worse off position after coronavirus, because they do not have the means to build this financial bridge to even try to weather through the storm.
So how are we able to print all this money and not have hyperinflation?
Because of the fact that everybody in the world depends on the US dollar for trade, for settlement, and everything. And basically, as we said, the US dollar is so strong that there is a shortage of US dollars right now. So the US can just keep on printing. It's still going to be the reserve currency. Nobody wants it to be the reserve currency. That's the other factor. Everybody wants to be free and liberated from the US dollar, because it understands that this continued printing cannot last. It cannot last, and eventually it will collapse the dollar. So that's why you do have other countries such as Russia, such as China, such as India, and even Europe now, they're starting to recognize that, and they want to try to find a way to build a new form of settlement, to find a new standard of trade that goes away from the US dollar, because it understands that you cannot have this massive, massive debt while not having any sort of growth at all. We're facing a negative GDP round right now. So you cannot have this amount of debt while not growing, while having this massive amount of unemployment. Basically, it's not sustainable at all.
Yeah, because it feels like, I mean, when the stock market crashed in 1929, the effects of the depression weren't really felt till about 1931 or 1932. And I feel like the effects of this like 7-8 month shutdown aren't really going to be felt till like a year or two from now. And then if the markets and all that happen, and then it's
because we have band-aids, because we're very happy right now with just having a band-aid to help us get through it. Okay. The problem is it's going to leave us in a much worse off position, because it's almost like, the analogy I like is like you're trying to use all the stimulus money to roll this giant boulder up a hill, which is great, and you're like halfway through it and everything. But the thing is, if you don't have enough stimulus, if you don't have enough backstop, if you don't basically have enough reserve, growth, strength, and all that to actually push that thing all the way up the hill and get through this entire coronavirus episode, then basically that entire thing is going to roll back down, and you've basically used up all your dry powder. You used up all your fiscal policy. You used up every single monetary policy string that you can pull. And then what are you left with? A great reset.
Yeah, I mean, do you see the federal government just, if it gets so bad that they're just going to like forgive these SBA and PPP loans and student debt. Like that's the other thing. There's so many things too. I read that like 85% of student loan debt is federal. And so the president could literally just do an executive order and get rid of it. And do you think it'll get to that place where they just say, okay, all those government SBA loans and PPE, you don't have to pay them back anymore? Because
I mean, yeah, I do see some of that happening, because that is basically what the IMF actually that's what they laid out in their framework. They were trying to find a way for these emerging market countries, these poorer countries, in order to forgive some of their liabilities, to reduce the liability side of their balance sheet so that they can strengthen in order to print their own currency. Because right now, these emerging markets, they're not printing their currency because they fear hyperinflation, because their balance sheet is so weak. So basically, the IMF wants to have a reset, to have some sort of plan to forgive all of these liabilities so that they have the runway to print a little bit more and get themselves out. So, I mean, if the IMF is looking at that for a lot of these emerging markets, I don't see that being far off from potentially something that we also might be looking at as well.
So, all right. Okay. So I'm moving more into crypto. I don't want to own any guns, but I would like to grow my own food. Without getting into too many specifics.
You like your own island too?
Well, if I could, I could have my own island with a surf break right out my front door, and I just grow my own food. I'd be done. I'd be cool with that. What are you doing? You don't have to get into real specifics, but like, how are you as somebody that's monitoring this every day? This is your job. How are you setting yourself up financially to handle this?
Well, I don't think the reset is going to come immediately. So as of now, as I said, the US dollar is strong. The US dollar is very, very strong to the point of breaking this entire system. And I think that trend is going to continue for a little longer right now, because basically every other currency again in the world it's devaluing. So the US dollar is going to continue its run for a little bit longer. It's going to be very difficult to predict the top, but I do think there's still a little bit more runway to go. But aside from that, as the printing goes on, Bitcoin and the Bitcoin and gold are going to be the main inflationary hedges. Because once we start to see inflation at the consumer level already, it's going to be too late. Because by then, Bitcoin, it's going to be so scarce. Because as a retail investor, basically, as a retail person, I do not have the luxury of being like MicroStrategy and just plowing $100 million straight into Bitcoins and doing OTC like that. As a retail investor, I can only get what I can on the open exchanges, peer-to-peer, things like that. And they're not going to be tremendous amounts. So the most I can do is grab it while I can with the available cash. And that's going to be the thing. Bitcoin is going to be more scarce as time goes on, because more and more of these public companies, they're going to be taking everything off the open market. That is going to push the price way up. It's going to be very expensive for retail investors to try to jump onto the trend later on when it hits 20,000, 30,000. And once it hits that, it's just going to be a continuous rally.
Okay. Because the last time too, when you're saying the dollar is very strong right now, but the last time you were on the show, you said there's a lot of companies and hedge funds or whatever that were shorting the dollar, basically betting against it.
Yes.
So and they're still doing that?
So a lot of the countries, they are betting against the US dollar, but every single bet you're looking at a time frame. So the companies that we were talking about before, yes, they are still short the US dollar because they think that in the long term, as we said, Russia, China, India, EU, they all want to drop the US dollar. They all want to be free of the SWIFT network. They want to be free of this dollar hegemony that they're so bounded to. And also, let's not even forget the emerging markets. They hate the US dollar the most because it's because of the US dollar that they're put into this very precarious position where they're at risk of hyperinflation. So all of these countries, yes, they all want to abandon the US dollar. The only problem is that there has not been a good alternative until now to substitute for the US dollar, because the US dollar was backed with gold. There was no other currency to take its place. But right now, with the rise of Bitcoin, with Bitcoin actually proving itself through all of this market uncertainty, these market dislocations, right now, Bitcoin has proven itself. It's gaining more and more clout. It's gaining more and more trust to the point that other countries, other central banks are now looking at it as a replacement to gold as the new Bretton Woods movement, so that other currencies can actually peg themselves to it. Even if it's a CBDC, other CBDCs can actually peg themselves to Bitcoin. So that's the way that it's being viewed right now.
Okay. And then I've heard this too. So I've heard a lot of people say what you're saying too is Bitcoin and gold. I've heard Bitcoin, gold and silver, or just crypto in general and gold. But some people are like, make sure you get physical pieces of gold and put them in some time as safe, because in 2008, a lot of people just bought paper gold or whatever. And when the crash hit in 2008, they basically it was a scam.
I mean, it's the same thing with Bitcoin, right? It's the same thing with Bitcoin and gold and everything. If you don't own your keys, you really don't own your coins. So I guess that's just the same crypto mentality, that you actually do want physical gold as a hard asset, because if you just have a little certificate saying that you own gold, that's almost the same thing as just seeing your bank account and seeing this number and you thinking that, oh, I have this number in my bank account to spend, when really in a liquidity crisis, no, the bank's not going to let you withdraw that. The bank's not going to let you spend that. The bank won't even let you spend $1,000 on your credit card at that point. So that's why in an actual crunch, no one will be able to redeem their certificate of gold for actual gold. So it's like the crypto mentality, own your own keys.
And what do you mean by own your own keys? Explain that to our audience with cryptocurrency.
So it means that you actually bank yourself. If you own your private key, that means you actually own your Bitcoin. You are free to move it, spend it, transact it however you want, because you are basically banking yourself. And that was the most important lesson for Bitcoin and the most important takeaway, because there are so many unbanked citizens in the world who don't have access or the means to have a bank account. Bitcoin allows you to build credit. Bitcoin allows you to take out loans. Bitcoin allows you to transact seamlessly, not in cash, send money overseas, things like that. And so that's the amazing thing, because you don't need a bank account to do that. All you need is a mobile phone connected to the internet. That's basically all you need. If you own your own private keys, you can do anything you want with Bitcoin, which is the exact opposite of what PayPal does when PayPal owns your keys.
Right. And when you say own your keys, it's like getting a wallet, right? Like a MyEther wallet. You have that on your, like I have a MyEther wallet
Yes.
on my cell phone. And I also have a cold wallet, one of those treasure wallets. So that's what you mean by owning your own keys.
Correct, but you also need the private keys to that wallet, because you can have a wallet on Binance, you can have a wallet on Coinbase, you can have a wallet on PayPal or any of the many, many other exchanges out there. But the thing is, the exchange owns your private key, because you can think, oh, if I put my money on exchange, it's safe. No, because when an exchange gets hacked, that is the exchange's wallet that the hacker stole from. If you own your own keys, you protect yourself. And if you somehow are hacked, that is only because someone else got a hold of your private keys. That is your own fault. But to put your money on exchange, the exchange owns your keys. So the exchange has to be responsible for that. And sometimes, in many, many cases, it's not. And you end up losing your funds, and that's what can happen.
So that's why it's not good to keep your money for a long term on an exchange like Coinbase.
On exchange or anything else where you don't have access to your private keys. So that's the thing. If you own your private keys, you're responsible and it doesn't go anywhere. If you are responsible and don't let anyone else have access to your private keys. But if you trust someone else, another corporation or anything, it's a corporation. It's going to lose stuff. It's going to get hacked. It's going to be at risk. But if you are responsible with your own private keys, it is a lot safer that way, because you know exactly who has access to your private keys. You know exactly how people have access to your private keys. You know exactly how things are moving. With an exchange, it's just so opaque. There's so many levels of bureaucracy in an exchange, in a corporation, in any of these companies like Coinbase, where you just have no idea who has access to your money, who is monitoring your movements. And all of them all have restrictions such as KYC. You can only transact X amount per day. You need to have your identity verified in order to use these services. No, if you own your private keys, Bitcoin wallets, MyEther wallets, those are free services, because in this centralized world, we do not have to provide any KYC information in order to establish a wallet.
Okay. So that's why it's like, I've had people recommend, they're like, Graham, if you have money on Coinbase, move, if there's a bunch, like you're not just kind of actively trading, move a chunk of it over to like your Trezor wallet.
Exactly, because who's to say that one day, let's just say one day legislation comes down and all of a sudden it's like all US citizens cannot own Bitcoin, like for example, because that's what happened in China, right? Back in 2016, 17, like legislation came down in China that was saying that Chinese citizens can no longer trade or something like that. And so overnight, everybody basically had to move all their coins off exchanges. Now imagine if you had a high balance on these exchanges, and these exchanges that normally they have limits on how much you can withdraw in every 24 hours. So you would be in a panic if you held a very high balance on these exchanges, because who knows how regulation is going to be? Who knows if these exchanges are going to be in existence later on? There can be an exit scam. There could be a hack. It could go illiquid. Anything like that can happen to an exchange, to a corporation such as Coinbase. But if you own your own keys, you are safe.
Yeah, but it's not like the American government does like crazy authoritarian stuff to its own citizens. I mean, we're a great nation of democracy.
Oh no, we as U.S. citizens, we only got banned from Binance, Poloniex, Bitfinex, Bitstamp. I'm naming all of the exchanges that I got kicked off of.
That's how many you've been kicked off as an American citizen?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and I'm missing a couple more, but BitMEX, there we go.
Wow. God, it's we're such like frogs in a pot of boiling water, and it's like fully boiling, and we still think, no, we're a democracy, we're free. No, we're not. We're like, this is a complete, it's like a totalitarian, some type of fascist authoritarian government, but we're in a mall, so we think it's nice. Well, there's a food court. You know what I mean? So it can't be that bad.
I know we're allowed to have protests without being shot at, apparently.
Kind of allowed to have protests. You're sort of allowed. I mean, like if you're organizing them, then maybe an unmarked van might scoop you up. But so you kind of can have them. And if you resist the police, then they'll just beat the shit out of you. So we sort of can pretend that we have that. All right, Christy. Well, thank you so much, man. It's so I love having you on the show. It's so informative. You're helping me learn. You're helping this audience learn, which is important. So, so the parting words, I guess, is again, get your money into Bitcoin and learn about. And this is the thing I tell my audience, because I point them in the direction of these like Bitcoin 101 videos that just, because everyone at first is like, wait, what is this? I was that way for sure, not even less than a year ago. And so like I tell people to go to the bitcoin.com, has a YouTube channel, and there's literally like Crypto 101. Where else would you tell people to watch that just really introductory level, spoon feed people, get them educated on the difference between these wallets and these exchanges? Yeah. That was a thing. I didn't quite get it first. Now I get it better. So where would you send people to learn this?
Let's see. Definitely your show for sure. But but as you said, my Ether wallet is great. MetaMask is actually great. MetaMask is a plug. Do you use MetaMask by chance?
No, I don't know what that is. I use my Ether wallet, and like I said, I have my Ether wallet, and I have a Trezor wallet, and then I use Coinbase for my like buying, selling. But no, I don't know what that other one is.
MetaMask is a great plugin that you can actually just install directly on your Google Chrome browser. And what it does, it links and you can connect your My Ether wallet to MetaMask actually. And so what it does, it allows you to seamlessly transact on certain sites using your MetaMask wallet, because your MetaMask acts as a overlay on top of whatever you're looking at, such as any DeFi protocols or anything, and allows you to transact using your Ether wallet into any of these sites seamlessly. So MetaMask is actually a great Ether wallet. They also have great tutorials on how to use it, and and there are a lot of sites currently that support MetaMask as well. They just came out on iOS, so seamless transactions on your cell phone as well, if you're an iPhone user.
Okay.
Which is great. There's also another one that very early on, one of my partners pointed me into, the worldexchange.net. That was a great introduction into Ripple as well. So where you can have a Bitcoin wallet, an Ether wallet, and Ripple wallet. Ripple, it allows you to own your Ripple private keys, which is also very important. So these are the 3 top currencies currently on CoinCapMarket. Those are the 3 top currencies that I own. So obviously, I believe in owning your own Ripple keys as well. So that is a great platform that allows for very easy access, very easy tutorials as well in order to transact your first Ripples.
Okay, that's good to know. And I'll tell people, like, as I use my Ether wallet, and again, they have a lot of basic Ethereum 101 videos, and I highly suggest you watch those. And they even pay you in these other sort of tokens or coins to watch about other tokens or coins or platforms. So it's like, you know, I just tell people, just every day I watch at least 1 or 2, something about crypto every day, just to,
Yeah.
and sometimes I go back and watch another video again and I understand it more, because I hear certain stuff like market cap and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means, but sounds fun.
Well, it's kind of like the stocks, right? It's like if you want to be able to invest in things that you trust and you think are going to grow. So you have your large cap names in the stock market, you have your small, medium cap growth names, and then you have your trash penny stocks. So that's just the way that you basically look at market cap. So all the middle tier stuff on CoinCapMarket, those are going to be a lot of your high growth, high volatility coins. But then your main large cap stuff, it's going to be Bitcoin, Ether, and Ripple.
And Ripple. Okay. All right. Well, Christy, thank you so much. Where can people follow you online and watch your show?
You can see me on youtube.com/boombust, or I'm always on Instagram as well.
Right on. Well, Christy, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We'll have you back on again, you know, right around the time the markets are crashing or something like that. And we can talk about or
Bitcoin's rallying. That's always good.
Bitcoin's rallying again. So it was like 13,700 today. So
I know, exciting times.
It's crazy. It's going to hit 20 grand by the end of the year, right?
I hope so. I do think that we are a little due for a pullback. We have gone up quite a lot. So we are going to hit some resistance between the 14, 15. We're going to hit some resistance at the 15,000. That just always happens. But the thing is, people are going to start selling in anticipation of hitting 15. So I do think that we are going to see a little bit of a pullback at around 14,200, around there.
And so it'll drop back down, but just another great time to buy.
Exactly. Back to its old support levels, probably at 10.
Nice. Nice. All right, Christy, thank you so much. You have a great night. We'll have you back on the show again.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Have a great night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Christy, hi, folks, laying it down once again. 436 people watching. We have 247 likes. Let's get the likes up to 400, everybody. Thanks again to Christy I and Boom Bust. Again, get yourself more knowledgeable about crypto. That's why I'm having her on more. I'm going to get other crypto people on because I want to learn more about it, and I want you to learn more about it so that you're educated. Because listen to everything she's saying. This is her job. She studies this all day, every day. And I watch all these other financial experts, and they're all kind of agreeing. So it's important that we pay close attention. So thanks for supporting the show, everybody. You can support what I do at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Blockchain cryptocurrency platform. Everything we were just talking about. Rockfin is the future. YouTube has demonetized me. My subscription count has gone down. They have just flat out pulled videos off of there. I did one about Hunter Biden. They pulled it. It's only available on Rockfin now. I'm going to start to have more stuff that's only available on Rockfin because I don't want to get deplatformed on YouTube. So support what we're doing there. I also have a Venmo at Graham-Elwood, and I have a PayPal button on GrahamElwood.com. As we just discussed, PayPal in 2021 is going to start taking crypto. And if money's tight, watch the ads all the way through, and you click skip ad. I do not get paid. And listen to the Political Vigilante podcast on iTunes and Spotify, and good reviews and likes and all that stuff. Boom. Shave your knuckles for justice. Clack. Oh, it was fantastic, man. I just Just love having these folks on that are just so knowledgeable. It's so great. Let's read some super chats, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, welcome everybody on the Rockfin and the YouTube and everybody watching on Facebook. 310 likes, folks. Let's get it up to 400 likes. That's a free way to support the show. Likes and comments in this set in the likes and comments in the video section. That stuff helps, and sharing the videos on your social media really helps. So let's go back. Neo is the one. Shaver on Justice. I wish you US peeps. Oh yeah, we read that one. I wish you all the luck this week. If you try to cross into Canada, sorry, but we already built our privacy hedge along the border. Mark Peterson, you're making Gotham great again, Mark. Shave your knuckles for justice, and hindsight is 2020. Trust me, I'm 56. Redneck Economics, what's up, Stevie? Check out her show. Another political vigilante out there telling the truth, mainly focuses on West Virginia and what's going on there. So support indie media. How is digital currency used? Is it something traded in for US dollars? How is Bitcoin used in the economy? I know very little about this stuff. And don't feel bad. I felt the same way. I felt the same way, Stevie. So Coinbase, as we were discussing, is an exchange. Like, think of it like Ameritrade or one of those exchanges, right? So like on Ameritrade, you can put US dollars on Ameritrade and buy stocks on the stock market. So Coinbase is one of the exchanges. I use Coinbase and I have an affiliate code. If you go to my affiliate code, and if Kate is listening, can put it in the chat, that'd be awesome. If you put $100 and buy $100 in crypto, you get $10 of Bitcoin. I get $10 of Bitcoin. So here's how you can do it. So Coinbase is like, you can link it to your bank account and then take your, and you can use any currency. That's the great thing about cryptocurrency. Anyone watching the show in another country, you can link it to your Australian money, your Swedish money, your wherever you're at. And Coinbase will tell you this is how much Bitcoin is trading in your currency. When Christy and I were talking about it's trading at 13,700, that's in US dollars. If you look at what it's trading, the equivalent of that in Japanese yen, in the Chinese yuan, in the whatever, like the peso. So you link it to your bank account and you put $100 in there, let's say, and you buy $100 worth of Bitcoin. And then let's say Bitcoin jumps up and now your $100 is worth $150 and you want to cash out, you cash out, and then you put and you can link it and the money can go right back into your Bitcoin account. There's little fees, not big fees, but there's small fees in there. And so that's how you do it. In the simplest forms. So, and there's starting to be more and more places that are accepting Bitcoin. So I forgot to mention this with Christy, but there was a marathon that Kevin Hart just hosted for muscular dystrophy, I believe. And they said they take Bitcoin and Ethereum. They were taking cryptocurrency on a telethon. And now the way that works, this is the key thing we were talking about. So I have a Bitcoin wallet and a Bitcoin Cash wallet and an Ethereum wallet. It's a unique code. So if you set up a Bitcoin wallet, let's say, Stevie, I can send you money, you can send me money, and we don't need to use Coinbase. We don't need to use any bank, anybody, anything. You can just do peer-to-peer, and there's just a nominal fee. It's very easy. That's really easy to do, and that's the revolutionary thing about Bitcoin. So let's say I wanted to send money to somebody, or one of you in Australia. We have a lot of Australians that watch, so we have people in Europe and other countries watching this show right now. Let's say somebody wherever, Thailand, watching the show, wants to send money to this show. If they wanted to send me money traditionally, they'd have to go through a bank and change their currency, the Thai currency, into Swift, all these fees. They could be sitting at home watching this show in Thailand, go to my Bitcoin wallet, and if they have a Bitcoin wallet, they can send me the equivalent of 10 US dollars in Bitcoin. They can see I don't know the exchange rate. Let's say it's 1,000, whatever the Thai currency is, equals 10 US dollars. So, okay, they're going to send 1,000 of Thai currency of Bitcoin to me, and I will receive 10 US dollars in Bitcoin. That's why it's so revolutionary. So you have people in the world, in third world countries or whatever, that don't have access to banks. Even in America, people who don't have access to banks. They don't need it, And when there's a run on the banks, and the banks, you can't get the money out of there. If you have it in Bitcoin or on an exchange or whatever, then you can buy and sell stuff, and that's what's going to happen. So that's the simplest way to explain that. And again, don't feel bad if you don't get it. I didn't get it. I'm getting it more. When I talk to people like Christy, I realize how much more I need to learn, but it's good because I'm understanding more and more now. Every time I watch one of these videos, I understand a little bit more and a little bit more. So just commit yourself to 10, 15 minutes a day, one Bitcoin video a day, just to get a little more knowledgeable so you feel comfortable. That's why Coinbase has this like $100 thing. So you're not risking, like, I'm not saying liquidate your retirement, your 401k and dump it all in there, whatever, but just start getting a little more comfortable with it and you'll start to understand it. But it is an empowering, decentralized currency. Sharif Snugs, what's up? Shave your knuckles with justice. This is why I'm scared of the Bezos coin. Yep. Yeah, everything Christy was talking about, the CDDCs or whatever, the centralized coins. That's these companies are going to have a centralized coin and governments are going to try to use them. And they're going to kind of force us to, and it's like, no. Alan Flynn, shave your knuckles for justice. How many homeless people do you think will be on the street through the winter? A brutal amount. We had 500,000 homeless people roughly throughout the United States before COVID. I suspect that number is doubled, if not higher. And as the foreclosures build, there's going to be more people living in their cars, living in tents, living in makeshift housing. I mean, Los Angeles is brutal. It's gotten so much worse in the last several years, and definitely the last 6-7 months. I've just seen it. Streets that used to be empty are now just cars and vans and tents, and it's brutal. It's brutal. So I think, unfortunately, the number is going to go up and it's going to be awful. Ruth P. Boom. What's up, Ruth? I've been attempting to learn how to in crypto, especially after the first show you had with Christy. Lots of vids later. I just today ordered my hard wallet ledger, but still don't feel like I know what I'm doing. Oh, Ruth, that is so awesome. And in July, I ordered my hard wallet because the person at Rockfin, this guy Scott, who's their like main crypto guy, and he's walked me through numerous times, and he told me to get the hard wallet. And when I got the hard wallet, I had to call him. I was like, wait, what? Huh? Bah. So keep watching videos. There's all these how-to videos, real good, simple, step-by-step, basic with nice big graphics. Like, I'm like, tell me like I'm 5. Like, that's what I need. It was like big, bright. Oh, this is what I need a picture book to explain this shit to me. So good for you, Ruth. That's awesome. And just keep learning until you feel fit. Keep watching videos until you feel like you got it. Right? And then when you try to move some crypto around, do a teeny, like 50 cents, a dime, 10 cents worth, just to see if it's the right address. Because if you send it to the wrong address, that's it. It's gone. It's like paying someone in cash, a stranger, and they just walk away and it's gone. It's gone. If a dollar bill falls out of your wallet, it's gone. So it is a little scary at first, but I think first of all, give yourself credit. You're doing the right thing. You're getting more knowledgeable. And now that you've got your hard wallet ledger, just keep watching the videos over and over. There's a couple of videos I've watched several times. Again, I watch bitcoin.com, and those are great introductory videos. And then I watch Crypto Casey. And Crypto Casey has some how-to videos in her playlist. She does this weekly show, This Week in Crypto, where she talks about kind of what's going on with the markets. And I watch this guy, The Moon, who goes very detailed into market stuff, and I kind of get it. But Crypto Casey, and just type in there how to use this wallet into YouTube, and all these videos will come up. and just find the ones that are really easy, real simple, straightforward, that probably have a bunch of views and a bunch of likes. That's when it's simple. It's like 10 minutes. If it's like a 40-minute one, it might be too detailed. It might get too confusing. So good for you, Ruth. Let's see now. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss any. Annabelle Corley. We rotate the other way. Oops. Sorry. Microphone problem. Melbourne is now partially out of lockdown. Masks mandatory. Retail back open. Restaurant limits. Today, 2 new cases. We stayed home, traveled within 5 kilometers of our home, wore masks, and got it done. It was birthday yesterday, and today I'm in America. It was birthday yesterday and today in America. Oh, you're not. Okay. Oh, well, good. First of all, you and Sam Dean have both told us how the lockdown and the masks are working in Melbourne. And now, because they did it tight and quick, opening back up, which is great. And also, everybody wish Annabelle a happy birthday. Come on now. Show Annabelle some love. Sharif Snug, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thanks for supporting the show, dude. Status Quo did a segment about rental strikes in New York City. I live here in Queens, and no one is reporting on the rental strikes or the protesting still going on. It's far worse than people can imagine. These people have no gas. Wow. Wow. Well, I think Jordan might have sent me something about that, Jordan Sheridan. So thank you for telling me about that, Sharif. I'll retweet that video that Jordan sent me, and I'll get him back on the show to talk about it since nobody else is talking about it. So, God, people don't have gas. The fucking winter's coming, man. Ugh. The thing I would suggest is get to know your neighbors. Even if you're like, that's the dick who parks in my spot or what, go get to know your neighbors and say, hey, we got to work together, man. The government doesn't give a shit about us. So we got to help each other out. You're out of gas. I'll help you. We'll get, let's, I got some money for a space heater. I'll get you a space heat, whatever. Let's help each other out because the government does not give a shit about us at all. And since no one else is covering it, I'll get Status Quo on the show and have Jordan talk about it so that I'll be another one. And now it's just not Status Quo. It's me covering it as well. So thanks for letting us know about that. Of course, I didn't know about that. Yeah, Jordan sent me something, but mainstream media, it doesn't give a shit. Doesn't give a shit. Thanks for sharing that with us, man. Stay safe and stay warm. Bitcoin is not based on the US dollar. Bitcoin is based on its own thing. In this country, we say Bitcoin is worth this dollar amount, but it's worth whatever currency you want it to trade on. So, it just fucking bums me out, Sharif, hearing that. And it's but I'm glad you're telling us. And this is, everyone got to start working together, man. They want us divided. They want us fighting with each other. They want us fighting in the streets because then we don't go after the 1% if we're all fighting with each other. So try to help each other out, man. That's the best, Oh, dude. Thanks for supporting the show, man. Sam Dean, boom, down under. Can Granny Petrol sing Happy Birthday to You by Stevie Wonder to Annabelle Corley? Yes, to help celebrate her birthday, or Shatner, Birthday by the Beatles. Oh, Annabelle, your choice. I will sing you Happy Birthday in any version with any one of my characters. You tell me and I'll do it. 1 Bitcoin will always equal 1 Bitcoin regardless of the US dollar. Thank you for that clarification. Crypto Key. Not getting any. Boom Bust is an RT show, and they go on every day. I think they're 5 days a week. So the Boom Bust YouTube channel just takes each day's episode and drops it. So you can check that out. There's about 3 or 4 people that co-host that show, and Christy's one of them. Sheldon Deere, what's up, Sheldon? Boom. Crypto is the only way we can have a fair market reset. Ripple is the devil. At full adoption, it's worth nothing outside a bank. Oh, good to know. All right. I know there's different opinions about this crypto and that crypto. I'm open to hear whatever. Me, I got Bitcoin, I got Ethereum, and then I've got the Ray token that I get paid with on Rockfin. And there's this new platform, Odyssey, that pays content creators in their own token. So I'm tempted to do that as well. Just another place to put my videos as a backup to YouTube. But thank you, Sheldon, for sharing that with us. Crypto is just is artificial as the stock market. Yeah. Does Christy do one-on-one consultation? You know, not to my knowledge, I don't know, but you'd have to ask her directly. I would suggest maybe reaching out to her on Instagram or something like that. I don't know if she does that. The Ray token, yes, that is the token that Rockfin mines. They digitally mine their own token, and that's what they pay us in on the content creators. Let's go the Superman curl right there. Let's go right there. Look at it. Boom. And then I use that on the Ethereum, on the Ether exchange. I can exchange it for Ethereum or something else. And then that's why I got using Coinbase. So if I wanted to cash some of Ray tokens out, I convert it to Ethereum, then send it over to Coinbase, and then I can pay myself through the bank, to my bank. Currently, it takes roughly 13,700 US dollars to make one Bitcoin currently. Make sure I haven't missed any of the super chats. Oh, there we go. There's a couple. There we go. Now, there we go now. Melissa H. Kaboom, Melissa. You're making Gotham great again. Look at those vegan guns. Oh, that's a bear market. Do you know where the crypto fees go? Who gets them? I believe they go, it depends on like, that's part of what the exchange, people who do all the blockchain confirmations, they get paid a little bit for their time, is my understanding of it. Again, that's an area of it that I'm sort of clear on. No, I'm sort of unclear on. That's something I would do more research on, quite honestly. Who did I miss? Oh, I missed a couple. Adam Gray, Shaver Knuckles for Justice. Great guest, great topic. Migrate to Rockfin, kids. Thank you, Adam. Rockfin is the future. Rockfin is the future. YouTube will deplatform me. Isn't it great being on YouTube? Louise Brooks. What's up, Louise? Look at those vegan guns. Look at the microphone. Can't even handle it. Great info. Thanks. Any news on Whitney Webb getting shut down on YouTube? Oh, shit. Really? Oh, God. I'll talk to her. They're coming after us, man. Coming after us. Independent Left News over there on the Rockfin. What's up? It's so fluid that it's hard for people to get their heads around. I explain it comes from Bitcoin land. I have an up hand wallet Uphold wallet. Doesn't it take a ton of energy to mine coins? That's what I'm understanding, because you have to mine them with computers and stuff like that. But again, that mining area of it, I don't understand that well, to be perfectly honest with you. Ruth P. What's up, Ruth? Shave your knuckles for justice. Thanks, Graham. I want to invest in crypto because it doesn't hurt people or planet so far as I know. The only negative thing I've heard from an environmental impact is the mining, that because you're using a lot of computers, takes a lot of energy. Now, that to me is another reason to double down on green energy. Like, yes, all this hard drive space, doing the show takes a lot of energy, like everything. All of the cloud space and store, all that stuff takes a lot of energy. No two ways about it. Under our current fossil fuel, it's awful for the environment. But that to me is another reason to transition to as much green energy as possible, so that crypto then becomes green. I understand you can get certain computers and you can do your own mining. I know people do that. I'd like to learn more about that. I'd like to do my own mining. So, but in terms of it doesn't hurt people or the planet, I mean, that's the only environmental impact that I'm aware of is the energy used for the computers to mine the crypto, right? And these exchanges and stuff like that, which is just the amount of energy that is used for the internet. But in terms of, no, it doesn't hurt people at all. It actually empowers them. When you think about the central banks, you think about like the IMF. So let's just break down some shit that the IMF's done. Remember when Julian Assange was at the Ecuadorian embassy and they were protecting him and they gave him asylum, and then the IMF leaned on the president of Ecuador and said, we're not going to give you a $500 million loan, or we might give you a $500 million loan, but you got to let go of this Assange guy. That's a way that they got Assange arrested in the Ecuadorian embassy. They got him kicked out. See what the IMF did? How it's evil. One of the big things that happens from war, the banks, the central banks love war because they get the debt. Every country that goes into a war is a lot of debt. Wars are really expensive. Countries will just spend because they got to win the war. The banks will act like a casino and they'll just bet on both sides, and they'll make the profit off of both sides going into debt. Crypto is decentralized because there's no central government. There's no Federal Reserve or anything like that doing it. It's done on the blockchain. So people can do it all over the world. So again, somebody living in some third world country, let's say there's somebody in Iran right now, and we're sanctioning them and they can't get this and this, and you have relatives or friends in Tehran or something and you want to send them money, you can do that. You can do that. They could start selling, like, let's say there's somebody and they're like selling a product online or a digital service or something like that. And you're like, well, I can't use my American credit card. The banks are not going to let me buy something in Iran. Well, I can if I just pay the person directly using crypto. And then they email it to me or whatever the product is. But see how powerful that is? There's more in the neighborhood, they said, of 2.5 billion people on this planet that are unbanked. They have no access to a bank, but they have smartphones. Smartphones are all over the world. Third world countries, doesn't matter. Everybody's got a smartphone. And it's revolutionizing. It's empowering people, small business owners, people just trying to get out of poverty. It's empowering people. So it's a huge thing. It's a good thing for all of us to be involved in. And anything that takes power away from the big banks. One of the first videos I did, the first month I was doing this show in January of 2017, was telling people to divest from the big banks, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, right? Because they were investing in Standing Rock and the Dakota Access, or not Standing Rock, but they were investing in the Dakota Access Pipeline. And that's a way to take power away from the banks, is move it into a credit union. I have several accounts in several different credit unions now. I still am using Wells Fargo because like some of the credit unions don't have as many features for companies. I have an S corp. So that's the one area I'm like, but I'm slowly migrating it out of there. And crypto is another way to empower people. So it's this, if you want to, all of us lefty revolutionaries need to be into crypto. And there's this guy that I was going to have on the show back in September, but then he had a family situation and he had to cancel. His name is Isaiah, and he wrote a book. I forget the name of it, but like Bitcoin in Black America or something to that effect. And he's a black guy, and he's talking about how it can truly empower the Black community in America. And I was like, I got to get that guy on the show, because that's what this is all about. That's another reason I'm so down with crypto, is it's very revolutionary. So I know I'm like kind of talking about it nonstop, but I get worked up on stuff. I get excited. It's like the vegan smoothie of the day. Sindaloo 2, boom. Great video, Graham. Don't forget to mention the blockchain component. It adds even more legitimacy in case people are skeptical. Thank you so much for that clarification. First of all, we have 372 likes. Let's get that up to 400 likes. So yes, and here's what blockchain is as I understand it. Again, I'm not a computer scientist. One of the things that's different, so like Wells Fargo, or even as Christy was explaining, like an exchange like Coinbase. So if you hack the server, if you hack into Bank of America's big server, or even Coinbase or Ameritrade or one of those places, since all the information, that means all the money is held there, you can hack it and steal the money, right? Blockchain technology uses all these confirmations from so it lives on the internet, not on one server that can be hacked. So like when you do a transaction, you buy or sell or swap, meaning you change one currency into another. It goes on the blockchain, and all these people, there'll be like 9 to 5 to 10 or 20 confirmations. So all these people working these computers confirm this, and there's a unique address or code. So it's transparent. You can't just do some secret bank transaction in the Cayman Islands and nobody knows about it while you're a creepy Epstein Epstein had a fake, right? Here's a great example. Epstein had a fake hedge fund that he would use to leverage people, right? They'd come to his place. He'd have a underage girl give him a massage, perform a sexual act. He'd videotape it. And then he's like, well, I got this video on you. And now if you want, you can invest in my bullshit hedge fund. Now, people, and this is a fair argument, two criminals can give each other a cryptocurrency, without anybody knowing about it. But the transaction is transparent. It's on the blockchain, as I understand it. Again, this is another thing to watch videos on that explain what blockchain is. But it's a good point to bring up, Sindaloo, to explain how it's different than a central bank. It all lives on the blockchain. And blockchain is, that technology to me is also the key for like secure online elections. So blockchain is another sort of revolutionary thing. And again, I'm not great at explaining it. But yeah, and we were talking, no one is reporting evictions or business enclosures. Yeah, we need to talk about that, because as I talked about with Christy, so I've mentioned several times now, my Yoga Works is a national chain. It's in about a half a dozen cities of yoga studios that just said, we're moving our business to online. They're filing Chapter 11, not because they're going out of business, but they're doing Chapter 11 to kind of restructure. And one of the things they're doing is the debt of paying rent on these, whatever, let's just say 50 physical locations throughout the country. So they're not using their thing anymore. Neiman Marcus, JCPenney, Macy's, Hertz. I mean, like, that's going to mean physical so the commercial real estate bubble, as we were talking about with Christy, is going to go down, man. So yeah. I'm now convinced that Bitcoin is a distraction from Marxism. No, Bitcoin is like digital Marxism. It's digital socialism. Winter is coming. Biden or Trump will not help. They can get fixed. This can get fixed today. We don't need a president to fix this. Cuomo and de Blasio can fix this right now. Yeah, I know. I know. Make sure we didn't miss any other super chatters. Sam Dane, boom. Annabelle has chosen Darien to sing Birthday by the Beatles. I'm doing the super chat as a birthday gift. Wait, that reads wrong. Happy birthday. Oh, hilarious. Oh, Annabelle. Sorry, I missed you. Annabelle Corley, boom. Can Darien sing Happy Birthday to Me? We all have an Instagram influencer in us. Yes. Yes. Which version do you want? Do you want the Birthday by the Beatles? No. I know it's your birthday. Darien to sing. You guys are awesome. Christopher Dobby. Boom, 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 boom. I heard it takes about 10% of its value per year. All right, that's good to know. I think, are you talking about Bitcoin's? Bolivia didn't need Bitcoin to defeat the US. Americans are just lazy and confused. It doesn't have to be a battle between. We're going to need money in whatever government you're using, and having a decentralized currency is huge. It's huge. You want to support the Bolivian revolution? You can send some crypto down there easier than you could send American dollars. Can you frack Bitcoin? Asking for a candidate. Read my lips. I will not ban fracking. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the one downside to Bitcoin. It causes earthquakes, but it's digital currency. Don't get so bent out of shape. It's jobs. Yes, you can mine at home on your computer. Thank you for that clarification, Sharif. But we really should frack for it. Don't you think? Don't you think fracking is kind of fun? U.S. government will stop Americans using crypto in countries they don't want us to. Yep. Please have Miko Paulette on the show. Blockchain is a tech way of distributing ledgers of every transaction so that no one entity controls the transactions, because every transaction is audited by millions of people. Thank you for that clarification. Way better than what I was trying to say. Yes. I'm going to put that on the thing. So everyone read that. Graham should have an LTC Litecoin address on his sites. LTC has much lower transaction fees than Bitcoin or Ethereum. All right, good to know. Graham, have you looked up conflict minerals and cell phones? Fairphone is a company trying to end slave labor. Not sure if they sell phones for US. Oh, no, I am aware that the minerals to make cell phones and batteries is just awful. But yeah, I was not aware of that company, but thank you for letting us know about that. What happens if there's a fire sale? Graham should have an address for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Zeke. I have a Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum address. I'll get Litecoin and the ZC one. I don't know that. Please have Miko Polite on the show. All right. I got to know who that is. I don't know who that is. Bitcoin and BlackAmerica.com. Yes. This guy, Isaiah, I believe is the author's name. And you know what? We emailed each other a while ago, several months ago. I'm going to see if I can. Let's see if I can. You know what? I like when you just do it in real time. Oh, wow. This is back. Yeah. His name is Isaiah Jackson. He wrote Bitcoin in Black America. I'm going to email him right now. Hold on. Yes, Isaiah Jackson, Bitcoin and Black America. Sweet. Yeah, he was referred to me by Rosie Tran, which I had on back in July or something like that. She was the first like Bitcoin talk we had. So what's up? Mary Hale is over there on the Rockfin of with Independent Left News. Oh, this is what I wanted to talk about specifically since we talking about Rockfin. So there is now for iPhones, I think Androids, definitely iPhones, there is a Rockfin app. It's a free app. Boom. Get the Rockfin app and you can watch my videos on Rockfin from here. Another thing you can do, there's no Rockfin app for the Apple TV, but if you have an iPhone and you have an Apple TV, you can then mirror it so you can watch it on your bigger TV. If you want to watch my videos via Rockfin, so everybody download the Rockfin app. It's free right now. Download it and go like all my videos that are on the channel right now. Free, boom, done. Support that channel. They just came up with this app a little while ago. They sort of soft rolled it out. I just found out about it. See, like right now, creators you follow, Graham is live. Boom. Look at that. Everybody download the Rockfin app. It's free right now. Download it and go like all my videos that are on the channel right now. Free, boom, done. Support that channel. They just came up with this app a little while ago. They sort of soft rolled it out. I just found out about it. See, like right now, creators you follow, Graham is live. Oh, this guy won't shut up. Isn't that sweet? You go wide, then you send it. Boom, look at that. Look at that. We're caught in a loop. Rockfin's a little bit behind. There, I just did a screen cap of that. So stupid. Oh, that is a great free way to support the show. Download the Rockfin app. You can sign up for Rockfin for free. Going through there, like all my videos. That helps, right? Right. All my videos are on Rockfin. All my videos that are on YouTube are also on Rockfin. They're ad free on Rockfin. If you got some money and can support the show, sign up for their premium membership. It's $10 a month, but you get premium all throughout the whole platform. You get everybody's premium content for $10. Nico House, Kim Iverson, Convo Couch, Richard Medhurst, Jason Burmas, who we've had on the show, Jimmy Dore, everybody. Boom, shalakalak, boom. Community-based economics is a Green Party value. Trash the two-party system. Thanks for your show, Graham. You got it. By the way, I got my ballot by mail. I wrote in Jesse Ventura. Oh, boom. And there's a couple like school board seats and city council seats, and I wrote myself in. What do you think of that? Leopard. What's going on with Kim Iverson? Her videos are becoming more and more alt-right and almost identical to Tim Pool's. I don't know. I haven't been watching Kim lately. I don't know what she's up to, but you know, I like and respect Kim. I don't know where she's at. I don't know where she's at. 397 likes. Let's cross 400. 3 more likes to get across 400. I know you can do it. I know you have the strength within your souls to make this happen. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. I'm inside your face. I'm inside your face. That out creeped me. 400 likes. We did it. Cryptocurrency is unstable. Best bet gold, silver, precious metals. All right, that's interesting. It was predicted that by 2022, 36% of mobile phone users in India would use smartphone. It's over 82% in the US. So again, mostly Western countries able to use crypto widely. Good stat. This is talking about Kim Iverson. Ruth P. said, I've experienced some questionable takes she's had on recent events, but I think she is generally trying to figure out things personally while being a public figure. Yeah, that's the thing I give Kim, man. Like, she's trying to figure this out on her own. She's coming to her conclusions, the way she gets to them. Whether you agree with them or not, that's another thing, but she's not trying to be somebody else. She's just doing the research and coming to her conclusions. You know, I think and I've said this to her, this isn't an insult or a slam or anything. I think she tends to lean more on the libertarian side of things, which is fine, but she's just trying to get to the truth like we all are. So watch her, agree with her, don't agree. I don't think it's like I'm done with her. You know, I don't think that helps. I'm not sure if I will be happier if Biden loses because I really look forward to the Democratic fallout. I like watching a train wreck either way. Not sure what I hate most. Yeah, it's a tough toss-up. Yeah, I really hate Trump and the Republicans, but boy, the Democrats are so hateable. They're so hateable. They're so perfectly hateable. Oh. Make sure I'm not missing any super chat. Kim is a badass and goes out into some tough places in her reports. Yeah, that's cool. Jesse L. Boom. Dodgers won, Graham. Oh, look at that. Oh, so they won the World Series? I saw when it was like the series was tied 2-2 or something. I can't remember. Adam Gray, boom. Where are those? Those should be on the. Those should be. StreamYard moves so quick and then they disappear and I can't put them on the screen. I'm sorry, everybody. Yep, Dodgers won the whole World Series. Breaking news: Dodgers won the World Series. Adam Gray, what's up, brother? How you doing? It's at Molly Simmons' birthday as well. Well, happy birthday, Molly Simmons. P.S. Grandma's a badass too. All knuckle shaving. Boom. Sometimes some of you go on Venmo. I forgot to check that. Some of you prefer asking me questions on Venmo. Venmo is at Graham-Elwood. Sorry. The Rockfin app is like a couple minutes behind. That's hilarious. I can listen to what I say. I'm in the future. Oh, here we go. Oh, no. We already did these. Okay, cool. So nothing on the... Okay, good. I want to just make sure I didn't miss anybody. 408 likes, everybody. Ooh. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. Oh, I think I had a segment. I think I had a hot, fresh segment, motherfucker. There it is, 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 there it is. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. You guys always thought it. You guys knew I was a barbershop quartet. Mr. Sandman, play me a tune. I don't even know Mr. Sandman. Off to Neverland. Whoop, that's not the one we're talking about. That's not the one we're talking about. Doodle. Oh, we've got a segment. We've got a hot, fresh segment for everybody. What's up, Miss Callie over and Mary Hale and Independent Left News over and the Rockfin hanging out, having some Rockfin sweet action. I mean it. Good night, Melissa. Yeah, I think that Kim is emotional. She's honest. She's being honest with what she's saying, what the conclusion she comes to. And if you don't agree, that's fine. But like, you got to respect the fact that she's coming to that conclusion honestly. That's all. Don't got to agree with it. That's what I know of Kim. I've known her for about 2 years now, and she just seems real honest and straightforward. And she's not like she did traditional media. She was a radio host for a long time. So she's like, I'm not going to I'm done like bullshitting. So. Lorna Dill, super sticker. Boom, 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 boom. Thank you so much. Lefties got to leave space in their brain for dissenting views. Like JD says, they have dictatorial leanings. Yeah, I know, man. Inspired you to start a podcast, Garrett? That's cool. I sent a Venmo earlier, but it's a question Graham answered already. Oh, let me check that because I didn't see it. All right, but I answered it already. All right. Oh, Matt S. Boom. Just curious what you think about mining crypto. Yeah, we did talk about that. Thank you for supporting the show. I don't know that much about. Yeah, I don't know that much about it, but I want to learn about it. I want to learn more about it. You look like an MTV music host. How are you? The next video coming up. They don't talk that way. And I'm talking like a DJ from the 50s. All right, here we go. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. Well, it's funny. If liberals spent as much time holding the Democratic Party accountable as they do shaming us progressive, true lefty, democratic socialists, whatever you want to call yourself, the Democratic Party actually would be better. Right? It's funny. Like, and who knows this? So we talked about Evo Morales. He was CIA tried to put a fake leader in there, and he just won this election. Here's what he thinks about America. This is pretty amazing. And this like what the rest of the world thinks of how ridiculous American democracy is. First, Ron Ukalik said, why are Democrats angrily lecturing third-party voters in solid blue states like New York and California? Exactly. I'm voting third party in California. Graham, you like Trump and fascism. No, I am in a solidly blue state. If I was in a swing state, I don't know. Maybe I would vote differently. Maybe I would. It's hard for me to say. I've always been in California voting. I mean, the last time I was I was in Arizona for college, in Illinois, which is pretty blue because I was in Chicago. But here's what I want to just play this. What Evo Morales says. There's no difference between these two parties.
Dudo que hayan diferencias. Tal vez en forma, pero en temas de fondo no hay ninguna diferencia. Escuché las distintas intervenciones de los presidentes de Estados Unidos. Todos proclamaban paz, pero nunca planteaban justicia social. Hablaban paz, nunca hablaban de soberanía y de independencia de Estados. Hablaban de paz, nunca piensan garantizar la dignidad y la identidad de los pueblos. Entonces, que yo sepa, la democracia de Norteamérica, que finalmente siento que engañan a su pueblo, hacen votar porque no gobiernan el pueblo ni el gobierno, sino gobiernan las transnacionales, sean con demócratas como también con los republicanos. Ese concepto tengo después de hacer seguimiento de las políticas norteamericanas. Dudo que hayan diferencias.
I doubt that there's any difference. That's what he says. I doubt that there's any difference. As far as I can tell, the American democracy, I feel, deceives its people into voting. But neither the government nor the people actually govern. It's the transnational corporations who govern, whether the Democrats or the Republicans. That's the thing that's so mind-boggling to me about the shame that we get. I call out the corruption, and Graham, I watch the debates. I watched the Democratic convention where they trotted out John Kasich, and all these Republicans. They trotted out Republicans, Colin Powell, warmongers. That's who they trotted out at their convention. As Evo Morales just said, they talk about peace, but nothing about social injustice. They say, oh, yeah, Black Lives Matter, diversity, but they're not going to truly defund the police. They're not going to restructure. They're not going to get rid of private prisons. They're not going to do any of those things. And then at the debates, Trump and Biden and Kamala and Pence echoed the same statements that neither one of these parties, neither one of these candidates is going to implement Medicare for all. Neither one of them are fighting for that. It's not like one's fighting for Medicare for all, one isn't. There's a clear difference. There's no difference. All of them have said, we're not banning fracking. We're not going to use a Green New Deal. It's unbelievable. Nobody in any of the debates said we're cutting the military spending. That subject never even came up because the military buys ad time on all the networks that handle the debate. So that's never going to be discussed, just like everyone else just talked about. They talk about peace, but they don't really do anything. And he's fighting. One of the things he's an indigenous member of his country. So that's what he's fighting for. And the handful of wealthy, he's helping the indigenous people of Bolivia. There's not even a mention of Native Americans in any of the debates or any of the conventions. Nothing. There wasn't like, we got to do something about murdered and missing indigenous women. We got to close that federal loophole. That's a stance that a president could have. Because that's the loophole, one of the loopholes in murdered and missing indigenous women. So if a non-Native American commits a crime on an Indian reservation, the tribal police can't investigate or charge or prosecute or arrest even the suspect if they're non-Native. Only the FBI can do that. And in some cases, they'll have one or two FBI agents for like a whole state, like Wyoming or North Dakota or South Dakota or some state like that. So right there's this loophole that the federal government, a president, could fight for and say, I'm going to close the loophole and give more power to the tribal police, as well they should. It's a sovereign nation. That's how it's supposed to be set up, is it's a sovereign nation. So they should be able to prosecute any crime that is committed against its people and on its land. So that's not even discussed. It's not even talked about. We don't even mention that. We don't even mention pipelines. And they said, we're not going to ban fracking. Oh, hey, if you live in any of the states that have had contaminated water, earthquakes, explosions, guess what? Neither one of these parties give a shit about you. Just like everyone else just said, there's no difference. I see no difference. I see no difference, he says. I see no difference. And when we want a third party, we're yelled at online. We're called crazy. You're supporting Trump. The democratically elect, he's been democratically elected twice, Evo Morales, and then he was ousted because of an American coup. We put a CIA puppet in there, just like we're doing with Juan Guaido in Venezuela. Because Bolivia has minerals. Elon Musk said, we'll coup who we want to coup. Elon Musk said that about getting minerals for his batteries for his electric cars. That's how out of control America and its, as he talked about, these huge transnational corporations control this country. There's no difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. Both of them are going to frack. One's going to frack believing in science. One's going to frack not believing in science. They're both going to bomb. Trump hasn't cut back the bombing of the war. In fact, the democratically controlled Congress has voted to give him more money for bombing. Joe Biden's not going to cut back bombs if he becomes president, because he was there with Obama that helped take us from 2 wars to 7. Obama and Biden dropped more bombs than Bush. And now Trump is on pace to drop more bombs than those. So there's no difference. Nothing's going to change. Wall Street might care one way or another. Well, if we got Trump, we get this, there's this problem. It might hurt our pocketbooks, but Biden might tax us a little more. Oh, that's all that matters. What Wall Street does. And they always say, CNN and Fox and everybody, the markets. The markets don't affect you and me. They don't affect. When the stock market's going through the roof, do you get a bigger paycheck? Do you get better health care when the stock market goes through the roof? No, you don't. None of us could get anything. So Evo Morales of Bolivia knows more, is calling out our democracy and knows more than liberals know. Neoliberals that shame us progressives and lefties don't know what they're talking about. If they're so-called liberals and they want these things, they should be screaming the loudest at how awful the Democratic Party is. But let's be honest. Liberals don't give a shit because most of them are college educated. They got good jobs. They're doing great. They don't need Medicare for all because they've got a good white collar job that pays their health benefits. They don't need $15 an hour. They don't need student debt forgiveness. They don't care about dropping bombs because the wars of Obama dropping all these bombs didn't affect them. 85,000 dead children in Yemen didn't affect them. Chelsea Manning, Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, it doesn't affect them. So they don't care. And they somehow think they're better than the Republicans who don't give a shit, because most Republicans don't care unless it happens in the front lawn. They don't care. The All Lives Matter crowd doesn't care because they've never been persecuted by police. They don't have one of their friends that got shot in the back and they were unarmed. The All Lives Matter crowd doesn't have that. So they don't see the George Floyd thing as a problem. They don't see shooting unarmed men as a problem. They act the same way about those social issues. And the liberals act the same way about working class issues. So I'm glad Rania Kellick said that. And then somebody posted Evo Morales's. And they're not going to show that. They're not going to show Evo Morales saying that on that. Rachel Maddow's not going to show that quote. Anderson Cooper's not going to show that quote. Tucker Carlson's not going to show that quote. None of those people are going to show that quote because they're all corporate puppets. They're all corporate puppets. Fox and MSNBC are just two sides of the same bullshit oligarch propaganda coin. And if you think one side is better than the other, then keep drinking the Kool-Aid, man. I hope that Kool-Aid tastes good. You think professional wrestling's real? Yeah, then professional wrestling's real. It's good. Good business. So support what we do here. I'm completely viewer funded. I get a little bit of money from the YouTube ads. So watch the ads all the way through. Don't click skip ad. When you do that, I don't get paid. But I get a lot of support from patreon.com/Graham Elwood. You get your name in the credits if you're a Patreon supporter, which is cool. And then all my YouTube videos are also on Rockfin, rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. All these links are in the show notes. It's a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. My videos play ad free on Rockfin. It's free to sign up to Rockfin. They have an app for iPhones, which is cool. And if you want premium content, it's only $10 a month and it gets you premium content across the whole platform. So support what we do. Go to GrahamElwood.com. I got a PayPal button. I got a Venmo at Graham-Elwood. Great ways to support the show. Listen to the podcast. That's a great free way. It's on iTunes and Spotify. And shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. Drinking Lysol. Kyle is on Rogan. Election night's finally worth watching. I'll be live on election night. For sure. Make sure I'll read some of these super chats and then we'll sing the birthday song for Annabelle. Give Yanis Varfugas a read or watch. Really good. All right. I don't know that guy. The Green New Deal is going to require those same minerals, Graham. Some of them. But they're finding new technology, and this is what it's true. Look, I drive an electric car, and I understand that an electric car is not perfect, and there's minerals that need to go into it. There's minerals in the cell phone and all that stuff, and I get that, and it's a fair thing to bring up. But part of what a real Green New Deal would be is money on research and development to find more sustainable ways. Maybe there are minerals out there that we don't have to plunder the earth and resources to do that. So it's a valid thing. It's a valid thing to bring up. Like we need, but I keep coming across all this new information of like Alvaria, that mineral that's readily accessible on the planet. It's abundant. They don't have to strip mine or destroy the planet to do anything. You put it on sand and it absorbs CO2 and buries it under the ocean. It's a process that naturally occurs in about 1,000 years, but using that mineral, it happens in about 2 or 3 years. We could reverse climate change with that mineral. There's algae that pulls CO2 out of the air, 400 times the rate of trees. There's earthworms. They're found microbes in the soil that do it. So part of a Green New Deal would be like finding There's plastics made from plants and cactus and all this stuff. So there's got to be, if we put a lot of money and research into it, and part of the Green New Deal would be free college, and then colleges having all these new courses on green energy, green technology, green science, and getting all these young people involved and all these current scientists, because there's a lot of things that have already been developed, a lot of those things I just listed, that if they had a little more research or a little more money behind them, we could put them out on a mass scale. So we could solve that problem. And it's a valid one that you're bringing up. That's what a real Green New Deal would be. Graham for president. You got it. Sharif Snuggs. Boom. We'll frack who we want to frack. Oh, Elon Musk. You worm. Elon Musk is such a worm. TM. Ba-boom. Thank you for supporting the show, TM. Oh. Kyle Kalinske and Alex Jones on Joe Rogan for election night. I know, it's going to be nuts. Here's a message from Kate, our moderator, doing a fantastic job. Worms are very good. Musk isn't. Howie Hawkins for the Green Party. He's on the ballot in California. I think that's it. All right, kids, let's sing some karaoke. Darien singing Birthday Song by the Beatles. Because it's Annabelle's birthday. Both parties just switch off good cop, bad cop roles. Democrats put on an empty facade. You need both to give the illusion of choice. Yep. Graham, what's the Biden-Epstein connection? If you go to my Epstein playlist on YouTube, you can see that connection in there. Will Ron be joining us on election night? Absolutely. We might have some other people join in. It's going to be fun. I'm going to be on. I'm going to jump over to Crosstalk. I'll be on RT briefly for part of election day. So. Cheryl Wyatt, Shaver Knuckles for Justice. We can still get minerals from Bolivia and have the proceeds go to the Bolivian people instead of big corporations. Yeah, well, that's a weird concept. The natural resources of a country go to the profits of it go to the people. Ugh, that sounds weird. In the middle of a bit, I hit this. No, that's an excellent point. Yeah, I'm going to be on Crosstalk election day, and I might jump over to. I'll have some different people on. You know, maybe I'll get Jimmy on the show. How about that? He might be live himself. I don't know what he's doing. I miss being on Jimmy's show too. I was just talking to him and Steph the other day. Ah, I love it. All right, 437 likes. Let's do it. All right, here we go. TM Super Sticker. Boom. All right. Let's do. Are the results going to be available on election day? Oh, Red Sea Socialist. I hope so. I don't think we're going to have a winner by the night. I think it'll be dragged out. You never know. Unless Biden just overwhelmingly crushes Trump and wins Georgia and a couple other red states that they say he might win. Maybe. How accurate is the Jeffrey Epstein doc on Netflix? It's okay. They let the victims talk, but then they don't follow up on it, and they leave a lot out, and they kind of shade it like, oh, Hillary and the Clintons, they just didn't know how bad Epstein was, which is complete bullshit. Complete bullshit. So let's go to YouTube. Brr, 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 boom. All right. Annabelle, this song is for you. Hey guys, Darian here, just like totally wishing my bestie Annabelle down in like Melbourne, New Zealand, or wherever that is, like totally amazing. Love Australia, you know, Auckland or whatever. Like, I think they're the same place, but it's like amazing down there. Like, everyone's so great. So, like, Darian just wanted to sing like total cool song, birthday song for my friend Annabelle, who's like so amazing. And thoughts and birthdays, Annabelle, and like total like Kiwi kangaroo or whatever you guys do. I think it's like Eskimos or whatever. Like, it's amazing. I think that's where like I think like dolphins were born or something, but it's like great. So I love it. So we're gonna sing a song. This one's for Annabelle. Everybody sing along because she likes the Beatles, which they're like I don't think they're still on tour anymore, but like I've heard some of their music and it's great. Everybody sing. Oh my God. You don't have to be wasted to sing. You can do it, you guys. You say it's your birthday, Annabelle. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's like my birthday too. It's like so amazing. We're having the same birthday. Like that you're saying that it's your birthday and we're going to have a good time. Like I totes believe that. And I'm glad it's your birthday. And happy birthday to you. Oh, yay. Hey. Come on, Annabelle's birthday. Yes, we're going to a party. Oh my God, I love going to parties. We're going to a party. Yes, we're going to a party. I would like you to dance. Birthday, take a chance. Like, I would like you to dance. I kissed a girl once in college and it was like, I don't know. I kind of liked it. It's not like I'm a lesbian. I'm not shaming that. If you are, that's totally cool. But like, it's totally okay. Like to make out with your friend on a birthday party or whatever. I mean, guys are like watching like, oh, I'm just like, they're making it weird. Like Chad said this thing to me, like he wanted me to make out with my friend Anastasia. And I was like, oh, Chad, you're just being weird. Like, I don't know. Like Chad gets weird sometimes. And I just like, I don't know, whatever. Like, let's just celebrate a birthday. I don't get it. But I would like you to dance. Birthday, take a chance. I would like you to dance. Oh, dance. Thoughts and dances, you guys. Dance blessings. You say it's your birthday. Well, it's my birthday too, yeah. You say it's your birthday. We're going to have a good time. Oh my God, it's going to be so fun. Like, it's going to be great. I made hats and like, oh my God, thoughts and hat birthday blessings. Like, it's going to be amazing. Oh my God, thank you so much, Annabelle. You're like my total bestie. We're best friends forever. And I just think you're great. And, you know, total happy birthday. And, we're not birthday shaming anymore, guys. So we're totally having a birthday. So thoughts on birthdays, birthday blessings, and thanks, Annabelle. This is Darianne, and you guys are all amazing. So stay safe on your birthday. And remember now, wear like a mask when you go outside because we don't want to have like a COVID-20. I don't remember like the first 18, but this 19 is really bad. So thanks, everybody. Thoughts and mess. Enjoy the rest of birthday month, Annabelle. There you go, Annabelle. I hope you enjoyed that. I always love like people who are new to this show and they come in like, oh, you guys are having this discussion and do this. And then they end, they're like, what the fuck? I just sort of like the regulars are all like, oh, awesome, Darianne or Granny Petrol. People who knew were just like, what is going on? Why is he talking like that? So I just, quarter two stump. Question to Stump Libs. How do you handle competing values? I think, Anthony, their heads will explode. Boom. Hard Lens Mona. Oh, hey, show Mona some love. She's going through a medical thing, so show her some love. Everybody. Yeah, Darianne is a character I haven't done in a while, but you guys have been asking for. I used to just do her on Instagram. I'd be bored and I'd just make some like, hey guys, video. So, all right, everybody, that's the show. Thank you to everybody watching over on the Rockfin. You're the best. Miss Callie says happy birthday, as does Independent Left News and a bunch of other people over on the Rockfin. Everybody watching on the Facebook, thank you so much. It's facebook.com/Graham Elwood Comedy. That's my Facebook fan page. Check that out. We had over 447 likes outstanding. Thank you to Christy. Christy I for coming on the show. And those of you who are new to the show, hit the subscribe button. So what I usually do is like that Christy segment. I will drop that tomorrow. I might cut it up into 2 parts, but I'm going to drop that Christy segment tomorrow. Along with the segment I just did about Eva Morales. So there'll be at least 2 segments. I usually drop 2 to 3 segments a day from the previous night's live stream. I might take tomorrow off. I'm not sure yet, but follow me on Twitter or Instagram, which is at Graham Elwood, or my Facebook fan page, because that's where I announce when I'm going live. Hard Lens Mona, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Graham, I wish I could give more, but I'm on disability right now, but you're the best and the realist. Love it. You always speak the truth. Hey, Mona, sweetie, like, don't worry about it. If you're on disability or money's tight, this is for anybody. If money's tight, don't worry about it. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that, but I know times are hard on a lot of people right there. So I love it. And everybody show Mona some love. And the thing is like, if money's tight because people have lost jobs or you're on disability or whatever, I get it. That's why I talk about the free ways to support the show. Watch my show on YouTube. Let the ads just play in the background. Open up a separate browser. That's free. Just have it on the background, whatever. Hitting the like button. Making sure you're subscribed. Comments in just the thumbs up, smiley face, whatever, in any just great video, comments in every video you watch. Just that quick action helps the analytics of this show. Signing up for Rockfin for free. That's a free thing you can do. Following me on social media. Listening to my Pandora channel. I get residual income when people listen to the Graham Elwood Pandora channel. It's my 2 comedy albums, and then they play other comedians' comedy albums. And when you thumbs up there, that's a free way to support the show. Downloading and positive reviews in iTunes for the Political Vigilante audio podcast. Those are all great free ways to support the show. Mona, love you. I hope you're doing well. Show her some love. And thank you for supporting the show. Just coming here and watching the show helps, man. So it's and I get that money's tight. So no worries, kids. No worries at all. All right, everybody, stay safe. You're all political vigilantes. You're all making Gotham great again in every little thing that you do. Paying attention, reporting on stuff, voting with your dollars, all that stuff. They want to divide us. They want to keep us divided, distracted, and afraid. But you come here because this is a community. We can discuss stuff, even debate it. It's reasonable to have reason. We should have be able to have reasonable debates and go, I hadn't thought of that. It's a good issue. Or, you know what? Agree to disagree. It's okay to have all that. It's all good. So thanks for supporting the show. Thanks for supporting each other. Because we need to do that. They're trying to divide us. And thank you for shaving your knuckles for justice. Bye-bye.